Hello and welcome back to the Jessica Pinili podcast. I last minute switched from the couch. I just felt more comfy vibes. My hair slicked back mainly because it needs to be washed. But it's slicked back. I'm in oversized shirt, oversized linen pants. And I was like, you know what? I'm feeling more of a chill vibe. Anyway, welcome back to the podcast. I hope that you're going well. I just felt this urge to record a solo episode this week. I actually wasn't going to because I've released a guest episode. I think I might be releasing another one by the end of the week. I still got to decide. But I was like, you can never get enough of too many podcast episodes. And I feel like this is going to be short and sweet. And the inspiration actually came from a conversation that I had with my client this morning. And this is a conversation that I have with a lot of my clients, something I actually have brought to the podcast before, but it's a great reminder around your upper limit. And I'm not the first person to talk about this. I cannot say that I coined this. I'm pretty sure it was the psychologist Gay Hendricks. Please correct me if I am wrong, but I'm going to speak to you about it in my perspective and what I was talking to my client about, because I think it's such a great way to understand where you are at. And as a high achiever, as someone who's highly ambitious, sometimes we can get so caught up in the things that are working really, really well, but we look at our life, and I always say to my clients, and I say to myself, you need to be able to take yourself out of the situation, bird's eye view the situation of your life without emotion. I mean, I've said this on the podcast so many times. Bird's eye view the situation without emotion and understand what is happening for fact. And so today when I speak to you about upper limit, I am not saying that something needs to be wrong, particularly wrong or perceived as wrong in your life, but I do want you to become aware of when you are holding yourself back or when to start to notice that, hey, maybe I need to integrate things differently. Maybe I need to embody things differently. But as a side note to all of this, I posted a TikTok, I think yesterday, very short TikTok, like it was 36 seconds. And I was basically saying, even though I teach all of this, mindset, identity shifting, even though I teach subconscious reprogramming, this is a reminder that sometimes we can get caught up in trying to look for the next mindset work hack or the next reprogramming tool or the next thing that is going to help us. You need to be able to integrate what you already have. You need to be able to integrate the things that you will learn, because I know that you're watching or you're listening to this because you have learned a great deal. Continue to learn. Knowledge is power in this world. So I'm not going to be like, stop consuming overall, but sometimes we need to have conversations with ourselves, myself included, to actually understand, am I integrating everything that I am learning, or am I continuously searching for the next thing that I think is going to heal me, or the next thing that I think is going to fix me, or the next thing that I think is going to be the thing that is going to create success in life. And also, just something that popped into mind, I got a very interesting comment on one of my YouTube shorts. Now, my YouTube shorts are anything that I posted on TikTok and Instagram. So the video that went up was probably like 6 months old. I've got it all repurposed, and the basis of it was basically saying that the thoughts that you are focusing on are creating your current reality, like it's reflected in your 3D. This is mindset 101. Regardless of what is happening, our beliefs become law. That law that we've created in our mind is our point of attraction. Anyway, I said this, it was probably a 60-second video. I got a very interesting comment saying that this is very damaging to victims of assault, etc., etc. I do not take comments like that lightly. I don't take comments like that lightly whatsoever. I could have deleted it and not acknowledge it, but I wanted to acknowledge to say that sometimes when we are consuming content, we need to have our own discernment of what we should be consuming. And I'm sharing this with you now because, and it can be on any topic, but you need to be in control of what you are consuming. If you are consuming things that are triggering you constantly, making you upset, making you feel weird in your nervous system every time you're looking at someone's page or someone's content, or you've come across a video, it's a reflection. It's really a reflection on what is coming up inside of you. And I'm not going to sit here and say, which means that you need to now start to heal it. And look, there is probably something there that you need to neutralize. You know that I prefer the word neutralize. I mean, I love using the word healing. I'm not going to deny that. But I think the key in this world is being able to neutralize our fears and being able to neutralize what we put on a pedestal and seeing things for what has happened and for fact and objectively. Now, saying this, we're all human beings, right? We're not perfect at this by all means, but I just kind of, that flicked in my brain of just something to remember when it comes to content consumption is you are going to have moments where something comes across. It's not going to be aligned with your morals, your ethics, your values. It does not make it wrong. Just like this person's comment wasn't wrong whatsoever. It was a bit jarring because I was like, that it had nothing to do with the rant she was going on. But I hope that she reflects on just the way that she consumes content, and later on down the track, maybe she'll be ready to integrate things that help her. Anyway, I digress. That was like the preface to what I wanted to get to. But coming back to the main topic of this podcast episode is your upper limit. So the way that I'll describe it to you, imagine that the upper limit or your subconscious mind is like a bouncer outside of a nightclub, right? And I'm sure that most of us, I mean, I don't know, maybe I have some of you that are 16, 15, 14. Hope you're not clubbing underage. But you know the bouncers, right? The bouncers that have like this big like chip on their shoulder. They don't like anyone. You could be like, I remember this one time, I think I was like 23, maybe 22, 23. And I didn't drink for 6 months. So I was naturally the designated driver for all my friends. We were going out all the time, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes even on Wednesday night. So anyway, I didn't drink for 6 months. And I remember going to this place, like I can see it so vividly in my head. Everyone got let in and I was the last, like behind the line, because I'm trying to make sure all my friends are getting in. They're not acting like drunk idiots at the doors. And I get to the front of the line and he's like, how many drinks you had? And I go, none. I'm the designated driver. And he goes, likely story, doesn't look like it in your eyes. And, you know, he asked me a million questions. I'm like, I am so sober. Like, do you need to get a breathalyzer? He's like, I don't like smart asses. Anyway, I just remember that story. But this is the type of bouncer that I want you to envision as I'm telling you this analogy, right? There is a point to that. So imagine that your subconscious mind is like a bouncer to this nightclub. Beyond like in that nightclub, the things you want to get in there, right? Because they're the things that you truly desire. But because this bouncer, its sole purpose is to keep you safe, it is going to do whatever it can to keep out the things it sees as a threat. So the things that are your upper limit. So for example, maybe inside that nightclub, right? And just think with your imagination for a moment, but let's say you're aiming for a $20,000 month, but you've been making $10,000 months, and you know that you're so ready for it. You know that you're ready for this success, for this amount of money and the opportunities that it brings. But the moment that you try, something happens. That's the bouncer, aka your subconscious mind, keeping out the $20,000 and instead only letting in the $10,000 instead of the 20 because it sees it as safe. The same thing can apply for your love life. Maybe every time you go on dates, you are attracting the exact same type of person, even though you keep thinking, you know, I want my partner to be this, this, and this, and this. Why aren't I attracting it? It's because you have an upper limit. Now, I bring this to your attention because I don't want you just to look for the upper limit when things are feeling perceived bad, when you're having a negative time in life, or maybe your point of attraction is at a lower vibration. I want you to also be aware of it when things are going good. And this is what I said to my client is you have to understand when you are on a good autopilot. Another term that I created where things aren't bad in life, but things aren't showing the results that you know you deserve. Maybe you can confidently say the input that you have been putting into your life, the output is not matching that. The money, the clients, maybe the promotion, the love life, the friendship groups, the opportunity, it's just not making sense. why you aren't creating those results you want. So going back to the analogy about the bouncer, it's like you can see the $20,000 is outside the nightclub, but no matter what, the bouncer's not letting it in. And instead you keep attracting the $10,000 into the nightclub over and over again, right? And yes, we still need to have gratitude for everything that we are attracting. But when this becomes a pattern and when it feels like you're doing everything you can and it's not making sense why you're not, for example, getting that $20,000 inside the nightclub beyond the bouncer, this is where we need to understand where we're blocked. When we understand what our upper limits are across the board in our life. So don't just focus on money. I want you to, if you're an online business, look at your capacity for bringing in clients. If you are a career girly, look at your promotion wise, or look at the types of jobs that you have attracted over the years, or the types of roles that you have had. Looking at friendships, relationships, this can be applied to anything. It's like you've plateaued in a way. That's exactly what it is. You've hit this glass ceiling. And so how do we work through this? That's the big question. Okay, we've identified, which is the first thing that I want you to go and do. I want, like, quite literally get out your journal, piece of paper, phone notes, whatever. And I want you to go back the past 1 to 10 years. Like I said to my client, even go back 10 years, just start to see the same patterns. There were things in my life that I've reflected on over the past 2 years that I'm like, for a decade, I have been attracting these same cycles and patterns over and over again. I can definitely, before my current partner, who've been together now like 4 years, I could see the pattern of men. Like I could see the cycle of types of men that I attracted. And so it didn't matter deep down that I wanted this safe, secure love that I could see outside the nightclub. The bouncer was like, no, you only feel safe with relationships that are full of chaos. You only feel safe with relationships with emotionally unavailable men. And so I'm going to keep letting them in. So once you've identified for each area of your life that's important to you, what your upper limit is by actually understanding the patterns, you can't just, please don't make this up. Please don't be like business owner. I haven't hit 10K, so my upper limit is like $9,000. No, like get specific. Maybe it's actually $7,000. Like that's your upper limit. Like you're not going to jump to 10 until you understand why you can't get to $8,000. And this can happen in ways, like especially money, something I'll note, because I said this to my client, is you can attract more than that, but if you don't actually work through what's happening in your subconscious mind and defeat this bouncer, quote unquote, then you can attract these things but lose them in the same instance. You can go away and make, let's say for 6 months you've been making $7,000 and then all of a sudden you bring in a $12,000 month and then you attract this unexpected tax bill, or your car breaks down and it's the exact amount you need, like $5,000 that you made on top, and all of a sudden that money is gone. Like these are the types of things that happen. Or maybe you go on a date with a guy that's going really well and you have a couple of dates, you're like, wow, this is the one. Then all of a sudden he gets a job promotion, but it's on the other side of the world and he doesn't know when he's going to be back. Like these things happen. These things happen. And so I'm just bringing to your awareness that this is like the test of like, okay, you've asked for this, we're going to give it to you, but do you feel safe? So you've identified what your upper limit is, what it looks like across the board. You've gotten super specific for you. You're not just pulling upper limits out of your ass. You're getting super specific for you. And then I need you to understand exactly where it came from, how it developed. And then a lot of this is actually body work. A lot of this is actually getting crystal clear, number one, on what you want. Stop changing your order with the universe every 5 minutes, right? I'm going to get a little bit like woo-woo here. Stop saying, okay, I'm just using money because it's just super easy to get tangible. But stop saying like, okay, I want a $10,000 month. And then like 2 days later, I would just be okay if I made an extra grand. So only $8,000 a month. Or no, actually, I really want a 30. Stop changing. I need you to get crystal clear on exactly what you want. Don't particularly put a timeline on it, right? Remember, the universe doesn't work on your watch. Crystal clear, look at your current upper limit, look at what you've decided, and then I need you to be able to feel this in your body. When I did this with my client today around her client capacity, straight away when we were talking through some of the beliefs and like what she wanted to bring in, she told me she felt very weird in her stomach. She could feel it in her stomach, and that is what we're looking for. And I know that some of you might watch this and listen to this on the podcast and be like, ugh, I can't be bothered. I don't want to swear because this is going on YouTube. I can't be bothered feeling into my body and sitting with that. That's why a lot of you will keep hitting these upper ceilings, because you will not allow it to create capacity and expand in your body and be able to adapt to it. Of course, we need to. The obvious thing is, do we need to pair this with messy inspired action? Absolutely. I'm not going to say sit there and meditate every day and just sit on the couch and feel it in your body. No, I need you to see putting the action in. But if you are trying to attract the love of your life, but the thought of being vulnerable with someone for the rest of your life makes your stomach churn or makes your heart beat fast and gives you anxiety or is giving you a panic attack, or maybe your hands are getting clampy, you're always going to push it away. This is what I'm saying this with so much love, because this is what I experienced. I put in so much action. Like over the past 7 years of properly doing this work, I put in so much action. I did a lot of the like strategic mindset stuff. But a big component of moving through your upper limit is being able to feel it in your body and allow it to pass through and allow yourself to visualize having that thing. But also, when you have a clear mind of what that thing is, we are going to be taking our messy, inspired action appropriately, right? Instead of trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and hope it sticks, we start to create structure and systems in our life. You know, again, I know there's going to be people watching and listening and be like, she's just telling us to sit with our feelings. Yeah, I am. But also what comes with that is having a connection to your body, which creates self-trust. If you don't have self-trust, you will never back yourself. And if you don't back yourself, what do you actually have? You don't have much. So you need to be able to do this to see where it feels weird, to be able to visualize yourself with the crystal clear thing that you desire and feel it in your body. Not just have like a fun visualization meditation, but to feel it in your body. Like, where are the icky spots? Where does it feel like claustrophobic? Yeah, you want the $20,000 a month, or yeah, you want the love of your life, or yeah, you want to be able to hold space for 100 clients on a Zoom call. But the moment you're visualizing that, your body starts to freak out. You need to teach yourself that you are safe. And something that has honestly changed my life, it is the simplest thing. I tell all my clients, and I'm going to tell you this for free. The affirmation, I am safe. I can't tell you how much that has gotten me through the past 5 to 6 months with everything. My personal life and my business life, just affirming I am safe. When I was doing the work, this type of work around to attract my current partner, long-term partner, I kept affirming every time I was visualizing him or visualizing having someone in my life and a companionship and a long-term relationship, and I started to feel my heart beat and started to feel anxious, I would say to myself, I am safe. I am safe. You need to prime your nervous system to be able to adapt to what you want. This is what this is, adaptation. Rather than staying the same and hitting and bouncing back on that ceiling, on that upper limit, you are adapting to who you want to be. And when you start to do that in your body, you start to make decisions that are more in alignment with that person that has that thing. See this cycle now that we are creating, this healthy cycle? So I want you to go away. I want you to try this. I don't want you to try it for a week and then be like, it's not working. This is a consistent thing to be aware of, and not just in the moments where life isn't feeling the best, isn't looking the best, but in moments where you're like, you know what? I've been working a lot towards this thing and I'm still not getting the results that I know I deserve right now. That is telling me you have an upper limit. I promise you, if you feel like you've tried everything, you haven't tried this consistently. Try it consistently for 90 days, like even 30 days. But 90 days, I like, I'm getting excited for you, because it is something that has changed my life and something where it has truly developed my self-trust, my intuition, and my mind-body connection, which is so important. Anyway, I hope the construction has just started, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna get really loud in a moment. I hope you've got so much from this podcast episode. If you're watching here on YouTube, I would absolutely love it if you hit the subscribe button, if you hit the thumbs up, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought. And if you're listening to this and you're not watching this, slide into my DMs or tag me on your stories. What was your favorite part? Honestly, slide into my DMs. I love chatting with you guys, and I love that you're supporting the podcast so much. I have been checking more often than I used to the statistics of the podcast, but more so the places that are listening to the podcast. Shout out to people in Germany, people in, where else did I see? People in Whistler, people in Poland, people in Milan. Shout out to all of you that are supporting the podcast, but just what else did I see? In the Philippines, in Indonesia, there was so many in Singapore, Spain. Like, what? I'm living in Brisbane, Australia, and you're all over the world listening to the podcast. Like that, it's just, I love this piece of content. Like I just love the podcast. I love you guys. Anyway, I'm rambling now. I know it's about to start to get loud with construction. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will speak to you in the next episode. Bye.